Tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life. I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my God above for living here today. The flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Hi, I'm Allison Salinas, and welcome to Citizen Watch. So I've started something new. Normally, I go on at Monday night at 7:30 every single week with Citizen Watch, where your voice matters. I always have a guest. I decided that wasn't enough. So now I'm opening an official Sunday night, 7 p.m., although I'm 2 minutes late, Q&A session. So what this is I tried to make an event page and it didn't go as planned. It wouldn't let me go live. Gotta love Facebook censoring, but they didn't stop this. So we're gonna go live here. Now I've got the comment section open on my side so I can see your comments or questions or whatnot. So I want you to get cozy for tonight. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I hope you had a great day. And so my Q&A session is going to be just that, Q&A with Allison. Get to know me as a candidate, get to know where I stand, what I believe in, and any questions you might have. So I'm going to give everybody a minute to jump on. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep talking about a few things with my Senate run. But as people jump on, again, the comment section is open for your question. So if you type in your question, I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible and as many as possible. I'm planning on the segment going about half an hour. So if it goes a little under or a little over, that's fine. So there's a few things that I do want to talking about. And the top thing on my list is Adam Kinzinger. I don't tend to talk about him a lot because I do not like him. I do not like his stance and where he believes and what he believes in and what he's doing. So I am going to join forces as much as possible with a gentleman that has been going around on Facebook and is challenging Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney. I don't know if you guys seen that on Facebook or not, but I have. And I've talked to the gentleman, and he is determined to get these rhinos and Democrats out of their seats. With that being said, I'm not sure if he's running for governor or U.S. Senate, but there's word that Adam Kinzinger is going to run for United States Senate. If he does, he will lose. Make no mistake. Absolutely none. I am after that seat for a reason. I am after that seat to take Tammy Duckworth out of that seat. I will accomplish my mission. In the meantime, we need to get Illinois straight. We need to talk about the real issues. We need to have conversations. We need to open up dialogue and be honest and real with each other. That's important, guys. Everybody wants that. There's also the lost and forgotten people in Illinois, where their voices they feel like they don't matter. I'm here to tell you that your voice matters, and I'm listening. So with that, I'll open up the floor, and any questions or comments you can put in the comments and question section, and I'll be glad to answer them. And we'll go from there. I did like the acquittal and Nancy Pelosi's reaction. That was funny. I got several of those videos sent to me. And I thought that they were really hilarious. I just can't. I mean, I don't know if I expected anything less out of Nancy. I really don't. But to actually see her throw a 12-year-old fit was pretty great. So I don't know how much of you saw that video. If you don't, if you need it, PM me on Facebook or whatever, and I'll send it to you. I have it. Just kind of giving everybody a minute to get any questions they're filtering through now. So while I'm waiting for these questions to filter through, there's a couple filtering through back and forth. So I will wait for them to finish loading, I guess. And in the meantime, we're going to talk about a couple other things. So there's a couple of bills that are going across the House floor, either are going now or soon to be going. And one of them I've talked about a little bit, and I talked about last week, and it has to do with our school system and what our kids are learning. So it's very dangerous territory. And I, for one, don't believe that politics needs to be in healthcare. I don't believe they need to be in our children's education. And I don't believe they need to be in our churches. Those are areas that our government just flat does not belong in. And I know many of my followers and my friends that I have made throughout this journey agree with me. I think we all know Pritzker's doing a great job of keeping us under his thumb the best he thinks he can. Okay, now they're filtering through. Okay, so Anna Vasquez says, what is your stance on the bills where they are openly trying to indoctrinate our children? And I was just talking about the children. And again, I think the government needs to stay out of our education systems. I think it is up to the parents. I think as a mother, I have 4 children of my own, although they're all grown. But as a mom, I think that that is the absolute most ridiculous thing that I've seen go across the floor. I don't agree that the government needs to be in our children's education. I don't believe that they need to be made to be taught things about BLM or Antifa or anything else for that matter. And I think it's up to the parents to allow what their children is taught and what they're not taught. And if I didn't answer that fully, I believe I did, but if I didn't, tell me. And if there's something else you need to know, feel free to ask. I'm definitely against that. That's just not okay in so many different ways. This might go a little bit slow, guys, because this is the first time I've done this, and it is live on my, let's see, my personal page, my SEM page, my Citizen Watch page on Facebook, my Citizen Watch page on Telegram, and DLive. So this reaches out to several different channels. And again, I have reached out to, I believe his name is Scott, and let's see if I can get this right. Let me look real quick, guys. Trying to keep an eye on the questions. Yes, Anna. She said, I agree. It's a scary thing. These things are being pushed through secretly and parents are not aware. We need a lot more transparency. Anna, we need a lot more transparency in our government, period. We need a transparency in our schools, medical fields, doctors, everywhere. There's no reason to just be upfront and honest. If we had transparency and parents knew what was going on, then they'd have more of a say and pull over it. Again, you know, I'm really for the parents having 100% pull of their children because it's their children. It's not, you know, your daughter, your son is not my daughter and my son. And you have every right to determine how they are raised and taught in schools when we're not around. Okay, his name is Scott Pressler, guys. I was talking earlier about Kinzinger, and we have another question I'll get to in just a second. So Scott is traveling to Illinois soon, and he's looking for volunteers in Kinzinger's district, and then he's going to where Cheney is and looking for volunteers there. So if you want to help him, Scott Presley is his name. He's on my Facebook. You can find him and talk to him. Okay, so I have another question. What is your stand on the vaccines? Are you talking about the COVID vaccine in particular, or are you talking about all vaccines? Before I answer that question, I want to make sure I clarify. Waiting for her response. Okay, so I'm not getting a response quite yet. So I'm going to answer both, I guess. So as far as COVID vaccine, that's become personal to me, guys, and this is why. My daughter was in the ER. There we go, the COVID. Okay, so what is my stand on the COVID vaccine? My daughter was in the ER because of the COVID vaccine. She had a bad reaction to it. She started shaking and running a fever, and it scared me. I've seen the reactions. I just read another one, and I'm not going to give out this name because it's personal, but a friend of mine, her brother-in-law died because of COVID. So or not because of COVID, sorry, the COVID vaccine. So I am highly against this, and this is why. It was pushed through the FDA way too fast, and we do not know what's in it. There are too many. I mean, every vaccine and every medicine has side effects, and I understand that. I do. But it's the unknown. It's when I get videos sent to me personally because they're trying to reach out to me, and they have a perfectly normal, healthy woman who had no medical conditions and is now shaking for the next week or two and can't stop. It's too dangerous, guys. It really is. I'm not a doctor, and I can't medically say that, but I can say that based on what I've seen so far. It's not a good idea. It's just maybe wait some more time, I guess, if you're that gung-ho about it. Let's see what, I guess the damage control it's going to do before you get to it. I'm scared to death that my parents will take it. They're going to be 75. I've told them I'm objecting to it, but it's their call. And some people feel like, hey, it's okay. But, I've seen otherwise, and it's very scary. Some other questions are filtering through. For whatever reason, my system is filtering questions. I'm hoping I'm getting them all. Oh, that's a loaded question. I think it's crap. So the question is, what is your stance on Illinois infrastructure? I think it needs a lot of work. I think there's different aspects and avenues of it that need to be discussed and looked at. I think the entire infrastructure scenario when it comes to Illinois and what works, what doesn't, what's financially stable and ground, and what is desperately needed versus are we going overboard? I definitely think that the stance on infrastructure is something that we need to look at hard, and we need to review over again, and we need to go over things that work and what don't work. So I'm all for positive infrastructure, and I'm all for making the roads sound. That's for sure. I have a 20-year-old. She hasn't turned 21 yet. A 20-year-old that said, "Mom, when you get in office, I'm calling you over every pothole." Well, as much as I'd love to snap my fingers and fix everyone, that is, our roads are a big issue. I drive down the roads, and that's just a simple part of the infrastructure. That's not even the larger area of it. But it's important. All aspects are important, and they all need to be looked at. And I really believe that, that's a serious part of Illinois. And the only other serious part of Illinois, as far as my job as United States Senator, is the biggest portion is the vets. And there's a lot to senators, and there's a lot that we have, I guess, a chance to vote on. And that's something some people don't understand. I've had several people come to me and say, well, can you change this, or can you change this, or can you do this? And they talk about taxes, and they talk about different things that are actually state level issues. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't have an influence to call and say, hey, if I know, like, I've got a friend running for governor, for example, and if I win Senate in 2022, which I'm going to, not because I'm cocky, it's just I have what the people are looking for, and that's a real person running. And I can call and say, hey, what about this? You have influence with your friends in the areas of government that you have them in when you have someone in Washington versus someone in Springfield, you kind of have that pool to be able to make some changes and work together as a team. And that's how it should be. All right, we have another question. Free community college education that Biden's wife wants. What's not understanding? Let's see. So is the question so Joe Biden wants free community college education. Well, first of all, we already have that for most people. It's something called a Pell Grant. I received that. So I'm all for education. I can't believe I'm agreeing with the Biden, but that's a little scary. But at the same time, if you're asking if I agree with free community college for education, that'd be great and all. I'd have to see where, first of all, nothing's free. That's the problem. And I have to see how that would work in terms of financing and what that would mean for the citizens of Illinois. Exactly how would it be paid for? Again, going back to my stint of nothing's free. So for her to come out and say, oh yeah, free community college and education, or free community college, that's great and all, but again, funding's got to come from somewhere. The building stands, the teachers are there, so I think what we have in place right now, Pell Grants and different grants and loans that people can get to attend college, although loans you have to pay back, so it's not free. Again. So I think for right now, until I look into it further, the system that we have in place now for like Pell Grants, maybe the restrictions could be a little less. I really don't agree with the family that makes $20 too much to get approved for a Pell Grant. I really don't think that part of it's fair. I'd be willing to look into that aspect of it. That'd be fine. But, and I hope that answered your question. Give me 1 second. My throat's really dry for some reason. Must be all the snow we're getting. So, and just while I'm waiting for more questions to filter through, I hope everybody's staying warm and safe. I know we've got a couple winter storms coming in different areas. So one thing I do want to talk about is this issue on Facebook. While I'm waiting for more questions to filter through, this issue on Facebook is transgenders in the bathroom and transgenders in women's sports. Those are two interesting topics. And this is why it's interesting. Number one, I don't think, I think the females have a big problem with ranking and working as hard as they've had to work for their place in their races and competitive training. And then for a transgender to come in and race again and steal all the glory and thunder because he wants to be a she now or vice versa, I think there's a big problem with that. And that shouldn't have even come to light. And a lot of things were snuck in here and there. And apparently that's what the Democrats do, and the rhinos, not just the Democrats. So let's get that straight and right on the table right off the bat. Is they love to sneak stuff in when nobody's paying attention or when they think people aren't paying attention. So that's important. And I've seen a lot of comments about transgenders in the bathrooms or guys, in the bathrooms dressed like females or whatever. There's a lot of parents outraged, like, my kid's not, no, that's not okay. And it really isn't. Okay, we got another question. So I want to make sure I keep these rolling. How do you plan on raising money for your campaign? I raise it by selling t-shirts. I raise it by getting donations from the Illinois residents. I will not take any dirty money. I will not. I've actually been offered. I just won't do it. Guys, I have to sleep at night. So how do I plan on raising money? I hold socials. I hold fundraisers for my campaign. Everything I do is out of my own pocket right now. So I'm funding myself. I don't rely on everybody else. If people want to donate, that's fine. Every dollar counts. But I really believe in giving back to the community more than anything else. So how much do you think it will take to run a successful primary campaign? Oh, millions, millions. I'm running for U.S. Senate, David. And I know what I need to raise. And I've got some good connections going on. We've got a gala coming up that I'm not actually tying my Senate run to per se, but just getting exposure, getting out there, getting my face out there, and making sure that you guys know that I'm there for you, and holding small functions. You know, I believe God has a path for us all, and my path is this. My path is a seat. And the reason it's a seat is because the people of Illinois need someone to represent them that they can relate to. So, and I want to make sure I'm not beating around anything. So I want to make sure I actually, it does, yeah, awesome. He's a state representative. It takes money to get your name out there. Thanks for doing this. Absolutely. It does take money, and it takes time and effort, and I'm willing to put it in. You have to be able to run the race and be in it for the long run. Even, you know, win or lose, I'm still here. I'm still going to make a difference. And again, you're right, David, and thank you for jumping on. I appreciate that. And if you have any other questions, I'd be glad to answer them. As far as any of my stances or what I believe in and whatnot, I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to get to know me. But yeah, it does. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of heart. It takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of time. And that's what I have. Okay, we have a question, I think, but I'm not sure. It just says back to blue, so I'm not sure what the question is. If you can form a question out of that, I'd be glad to answer that. I just want to make sure I get everybody. I'll give her a minute just to rephrase a question. I'm hoping that was a question. I definitely back the blue. Okay, so she wants me to talk about it. So, okay. Back to blue. Well, I was the back to blue girl long before I decided to run for U.S. Senate. In fact, May 29th, this isn't backing the blue, but May 29th, we held, me and 10 friends that were complete strangers came together and gave back a graduation that Pritzker stole. And from that, it launched me to helping the police officers, the firefighters, EMS, stuff like that. So first responders. And so I've always backed the blue. I've always had respect for police officers. My motto is don't break the law. You won't piss off the cops. So that's just how it is. You won't be in handcuffs if you don't break the law. You know, you do what you're told, be a law abiding citizen, and you're 99.8% fine. Backing the blue. I wholly back the blue. Wholeheartedly. We have a gala coming up April 2nd. For the first responders and the police officers and pretty much anybody in uniform, military, you name it, you're in a uniform, we're including you. So we love raising money for these guys. We love helping these guys. We're actually going to help 3 different businesses: Effingham Police, Brownstown Fire Department, and if we choose that, we're going to choose another one. We haven't chosen the 3rd one yet. But Brownstown Fire Department, let me tell you guys, these guys, they're volunteers. They don't get paid for what they do. They don't make a lot of money during the year. And their truck's a 1989 truck. That's what they run off of. So people like that, people that give their life every day and risk their life every day and don't know if they're going home, you bet I back 100%. Trying to make sure. Okay. Sorry, I had a question on my phone, I guess. But not for this, I thought it was. Okay, so let's see. What else can I talk about? I'd love to talk about you know what? Here's something we need to talk about. You guys need to know who my opponents are so far. So far, my opponent is Peggy Hubbard and Bobby Piton. And let's see, I think, and possibly Adam Kinzinger. So those are my opponents. The thing I hold over all of them, as far as what distinguishes me from them, is I keep my campaign classy, which Bobby Piton, by the way, does too. I'll give him credit for that. He's actually a decent guy. And, but the thing that distinguishes me from him or Peggy Hubbard is I'm relatable. I know what it's like to decide whether you buy a gallon of milk or a loaf of bread that day. So I'm relatable. I understand. I can just give me 1 second. Someone's looking for this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to make sure everybody can. Okay. Sorry about that. Someone was asking if anyone was here on Illinois Rising on one of the Facebook pages for this live. So I'm directing them here. Hopefully they'll jump in. So my opponents, I'm originally from Texas, and I've been in Illinois going on 9 years now. And I love it here, guys. It's funny because I get made fun of kind of because when the snow comes in, I still think it's pretty. Well, if you live in Illinois, and you've been here a while, you don't really like the snow or the ice. Now, I don't like the ice either, but the snow is great. The snow is still pretty. Although I don't know about this cold. This much cold can kind of go somewhere. But anyway, so I'm relatable. I'm the girl that I'm the all-American daughter, wife, mother, grandmother that will sit down beside you and ask you how your day's going. I will pick up my cell phone. I have so many constituents call my cell phone that my personal cell phone, they call me and we talk. We talk about real issues. We talk about what matters. And here's how I figure it. Here's how I understand politics as it is running for U.S. Senate. If you can't have a viable conversation where you actually care about what the other person has to say and you care about hearing them out, if you can't do that and you can't take 5, 10, 15, 20, I have taken longer and I don't care. As long as I'm not busy with my family, I'm good. But even then, sometimes my poor husband gets put on the back burner because you guys come first. If you can't give that time and give that heart, then you don't belong in office. You just don't. If you can't relate, if you can't understand, and if you can't be open-minded to hear somebody out, you do not belong in office. And that's where I stand with that. So I try to be there for everybody I can. I made 2 promises when I started this campaign run. 2. The first one was to always hold integrity and justice. I've tried. I think I've done that so far. The second one was to answer any and all questions. Because I don't know about you guys, but the one thing I hate about politicians, cannot stand it, is they never answer a question. Or they don't answer it fully, or they bypass it and skim over it, or they just don't answer it at all. I also don't like when people write people that are running for office or that are in office and they don't get a response. Guys, I got an 8-page letter from a constituent in Arnold, Illinois, I believe, or maybe not in Illinois, maybe. And it was 8 pages. He was an autistic male who took his time to write 8 pages to me to explain to me why I need to beat Tammy Duckworth, why I need to run. And one whole page was committed to every town that he could think of that I need to hit, which I will make sure I hit those towns. Things like that. He's getting a letter back. He's getting a handwritten letter back. It's not typed. It's not from my chief of staff. It'll be from me. That's real commitment, folks. If I can sit here with you guys for an hour, twice a week, and communicate with me, and we talk about real issues, that's how we solve things in this state. We put aside our differences and come to an agreement. Maybe it can't always happen like that. It isn't a perfect world. I get it. We're going to disagree. during my journey for running for United States Senate so far, and I came out pretty early. I came out about 4 or 5 months before the 2020 election. So I've been around here for a while. And in that time, one of my closest friends is actually a Democrat. I know she says she's not a Democrat, but she voted for Biden, but she says she's independent, but she doesn't like Trump. Well, you know what? We're going to disagree on that, but that's okay. That's what's important. It's okay to disagree. It's how you come to a resolution of what's best for this state that's more important than whether you disagree or agree on an issue. This girl that I'm talking about, she's a very good friend of mine now. I would do anything in this world for her, and she would do the same for me. And although she voted for Biden, she tells me she's going to vote for me. So, and I've always preached, don't ever vote the party, vote the person. And that's so important, guys. It really is. It's important to understand that you have to vote for the person that's best for the job. That's what matters the most. All right, guys. So that's it for today's Q&A. I will catch you tomorrow night at same channel, Citizen Watch, where your voice matters. We have a special guest, and she's also performing the national anthem at the gala in Effingham on April 2nd. So I hope to see you guys there. Again, I'll come back Sunday night at 7 o'clock for our second session number 2 for Q&A. I hope you have a great night.